Oh shucks, I'm on mute. So sorry. So let's start. So this seminar is about um, IT Windows administration. So my name is Oliver. Please help to subscribe. I'll do it in English conversation for my speaking, so I can have international viewers as well. So this is I'm not endorsing my current company, but in case you need some services consultation, just let me know. Message me. Then please help me to have some more followers, subscribers, so I can help you more. I'll broadcast some more materials and some other tutorial. Yeah. So the seminar is about um, enhancing your current technical skills regarding Windows platform management. So as a systems engineer, like if you're a help desk, you will be able to know what are the required skills to be a Wintel engineer to an enterprise environment. So how much this training costs actually outside from external seminar companies from Philippines Entity Data, they're offering this training about 38,000 pesos, so it's about 1,000 Sing dollar or 800 USD. Yeah. So for me, it's just free. Just help me to have more subscriber. Then that's the only favor I need from you. So the topic, the audience will be good for those still learning IT interest in like career path as engineers for Windows platform. If you are level 1 desktop support, help desk, or yours even like your current Wintel engineer, then this can be help you to have a review. So our topics related for today is about Active Directory configuration. So we will be simulating um, creating your own domain. Yeah, so it's like having your own like um, maybe google.com environment. So like your office, you have your own user ID, domain, user and passwords, right? So these are for administrators, um, administration, actually more on administration controls. So like what is really happening behind uh, before you log into the domain, or how you join to the domain. So this is the foundation actually. So to start off, for a refresh, what is a domain? Actually, this description is from my own, as per my understanding. Of course, everyone does have some more, much more elaborated description, but I'll try to make it like a summary. So a domain is like in IT terms, it's grouping your own network, your devices, like having control of your own IT infrastructure objects, like your network switches, your servers, workstation, clients. Yeah. So what is the related for a domain? Active Directory is like you need to have a domain name, like a company name. So we're in some company use google.com, they have their own domain, right? So amd.com. So you must come up with a company name. Yeah. So when you come up with a company name, you write it down, your servers as well. Put records of your target servers, IP, username, password that you will use. Okay. So the involvement for setting up Active Directory is DNS. It's a domain name server wherein it will translate the IP. Instead of calling the IP, you can call it by a name. So the difference of internal and external DNS is like your internal is for your Active Directory zone, securely to your network, your internal network. Then the external is those records that you are able to reach, like google.com, youtube.com, wherein it's hosted from a different data center of this provider. So to start off is what is an Active Directory? So it's centralized management for your computer objects, your users, and there are so much more like any services like integration like LDAP, like configuring your security for your network to Active Directory. So authentication, so many more actually. So what else? What is a domain controller? These are actually PC, a virtual machine or physical that you will install a Windows platform on top of your virtual machine. So then you will enable the Active Directory service as well. A group policy is involved. Like this is centralized management for your configuration for your workstation or servers. Depends on the requirements and the compliance of your company. So instead of doing it on one server or one workstation at a time, well, you can group them out and create a link like for changing wallpapers, password, policy management. Like you want to expire all the nodes for your domain for like every 5 days, 30 days. So you can set it on the policy management. So what do you need to have a machine join the domain? Then why do we need a machine to join the domain? Well, security purposes and computer management centralized. Before that, let me try to check my volume first. Yep, so far we're good. Okay. Let me adjust a bit my presentation. Sorry for that. Okay. Think looks better now. So, to proceed, as what I said, we need to have your proper tools. So we will be using VM Workstation. So I already downloaded the trial version for VM Workstation 15. Let us do now the actual hands-on. So I will install the VMware Workstation 15. So actually I have a 1 gig of bandwidth from M1, so I can download like very fast for like 6 gig around 5 minutes or less. So hopefully you can work with me. If you have questions, just message on the chat button. I'll try to answer. Yep. Hello, Idol Robert. So let's start. So this workstation Pro is trial for VMware is wherein we will install your platform, your first virtual machine using this workstation. So just click next till the end of the world, then just click next. Do not join, you don't need product. Next, start, install, wait for a while. So after some few sessions with me with Active Directory, you will be able to apply as a level 1 Wintel engineer to any like a famous outsourcing remote support companies. So okay, we don't need a license, just finish. We will start to create our own virtual machine now. Let me minimize. Okay, first is ensure to arrange all your target like information. You must come up with a company name. Yeah, what you will put to your virtual machine. What is your node name that you will put for your domain controller or a test machine? What is the IP? So okay, let us open the VM workstation. So just trial, finish. So welcome to the environment for VMware Workstation 15. This is almost the same like the normal VMware ESX host, almost, yeah. So for this one is we will try to create a new virtual machine. For our target is one domain controller first, yeah. So just click new, typical. Let's locate the ISO I downloaded earlier. Let's see. I will be using 2016 evaluation. If you have 2012, 2008, doesn't matter. Yeah, just click next. Let's make it OS admin password later. Let's put later, then yeah. So let's put our first name. Let's name it as OSDC01. Okay, just save. So usually domain controller in enterprise minimum now is 60 gig. So usually it's single file VMDK, but doesn't matter. As for test purposes, you can put 40, but this will not provision the whole 60 basically. So okay, let's finish. So you will see your first virtual machine is this host supports MDB, but oh my, something is wrong I think with my CPU. Let me try 4 gig dual core. Let's try. Oh damn, because I'm using AMD now. Last time was Intel. Enable. Oh god, I think I have to shut down this broadcast then recreate again. So if that's the case, if I have to shut down and modify my BIOS, I'll try to post again the link. Yeah, I'll broadcast again the link. Just click on my page directly, because I just did a BIOS update. I haven't modified the virtual settings, so I'll come back. Apologies, yeah, so I have to reboot. Hello. Hi. Good, I'm back. Apologies, I'm back. I enabled back my BIOS CPU virtual features. So let's, oh my god, give me a minute. Hi, sorry, I'm back. So, oh my god, another license problem, I think, or what? So, yes, from your created new virtual machine, um, mount the ISO, okay? So, after that, just turn on. Why? It's not compatible. Let me try a different ISO. Shout out to my homeboys, Dota boys. Okay, I don't know where's my ISO. Mm, okay, let me try to download first. Yeah. Hi, apologies. So I have to prepare and re-download the Windows ISO. So for now, we try to prepare our possible Windows client. So we will create new VM for Windows 10. So I have my Windows 10. Let's copy our ISO. So this Windows 10, we will join to the domain. While I'm still downloading the 2016. Okay, good. We're finally back again after 10 years. I apologize for that. So, we're starting off our first domain controller. So, actually, we can set create another one simultaneously, but we don't want the ISO to be that much use, so we wait a bit anyway. Okay, looks great. So usually when you create your own like your first virtual machine, is you need to put a static IP. Yeah. So initially, uh, this configuration is I'm connected directly to my local home router, or actually this one is direct. I think we have to put um, let us try to put directly to my network, to my home residential router. Yeah, so we can have internet, although it's not necessary to have an internet, especially to your Active Directory. So you just go to right click settings, network adapter, change to bridge. Yeah, so it's like you plug in your virtual machine directly to your home router or by Wi-Fi or cable. So the first, after you install the first VM, because this one is from VM Workstation, it will require you to install VM tools. This is for the improvement of performance of your virtual machine, for doing a remote, some chipset. Yep, so just install it, restart for both. So basically, OS DC01 means my domain controller 01. This is wherein we will start to add the domain services, the Active Directory. Yeah. So your DC series OSD C02 will be your secondary in case your 01 goes down. Then you still have another one for redundancy, high availability purposes. Yeah. So let's try to put the network to public IP. Ensure that your server firewall is off from control panel. So small icons, firewall, internal servers firewall should be off. So if you are worried why we should turn off the firewall for the server level, actually in enterprise you don't need totally. This depends on the company's security compliance requirements. Usually you separate the firewall policy in each VLAN networks or uh, different network uh, separation. So it's like your server should be separated to your public. So this network for your servers is your internal, like just for servers to servers or server to client. So no public. Yeah. So just turn off this. So the second one is almost done as well. So I start with the first one. So we turn off the firewall. Then, so maybe let me try to put pointers here. Put a, you need a host name. You need an IP static, and turn off the firewall. Of course, we want to enable the RDP. Yeah. So for now, we will add the roles and features for your first domain controller. So, we put the host name first. Right click, put a proper host name. So we just put it and this short description, domain controller 01. Computer name will be OSDC01. Keep the domain blank. Work group, set it as it is. So click OK. You have to restart again. Probably you need to restart 100 times before we complete. So I'll start the second one as well. Turn off the firewall. If you don't turn off the firewall, your OSDC01 won't be able to reach your 02, like for doing a ping or connection for joining to domain. So you have to turn off the firewall unless you want to add rule each ports required from here, or like 4 ports. So but you don't want to do that, so for test purposes you turn off, but some companies in enterprise you keep it off as well. As I said, that you put the firewall separation policy on the network layer, not on the server layer, yeah, most of the time. Yeah. So let's check this DC01. Before we can join to create a new domain, it is required for you to have a local account, okay, from server manager. So local account, like with the password as well. Tools, configuration manager, management, yeah. Then is it should be here. Local users, we must provide a password. OS admin, our password will be password 01 exclamation. Okay, then I think we have to restart again. Let us try not to restart. So add roles and features, yeah. So this is the first step for adding creating a domain controller, yeah. So just click next. Role base, server selection, this is your local node. Server roles, then what we need is domain services. Alright, so you check domain services, so it will automatically pop up the required services and features. Just click add features. What else do we need? For now that's it. DNS we set up later. Maybe we can add. Okay, it's asking me to put static IP first as recommended, so let's try to put first. One into 168. Let's put it on what we have used on DHCP 133. We turn off IPv6, it's not required. 92.168.1.135.268.1.1. So the DNS server, it will be a loop 1270.0.1, but I just put the same. It will end up as loop IP, like by its own. So okay, let's go back to this rows. I think we should add already as well. So click next. Okay, so for now we keep it as the default. Just click next. ADDS domain services. Yep. Click next. DNS we need for active directory integrated DNS. And just click install. Wait for a while. By the way, I'm using my test machine. I'm using Ryzen 1800X 8-core processor, so I have 16 gigs of RAM. Probably I will add some more RAMs. Actually, I have another machine for my virtual test machine as well. So I'm using SSD for my files, so it's quite powerful one. Then after configuration, pre-config completed, just click yep, close. Then there should be a notification from the dashboard that okay, we need to promote after we add those features. Then we need to promote as domain controller. Previously, in previous version 2008 R2 below, we use the command dc promo, right? So like the dc promo is no longer applicable for 2012 and above, so we have to do this on roles and features instead. So we have to promote, yeah. Then we will create new domain. Oh wait, this one is quite new. This one is if you have existing domain. No, we don't have, so probably we will add. We cannot select add new domain to an existing. We don't have even a new forest, so we create a forest first. Then let's call our domain name as what I put here is camposolutions.org. Okay, hit next. Shout out to Avar Media microphone. Hope you send me new one, please. Yeah. So by default, if you're using 2016, it will all go 2016. I mean, you can lower down, but let's keep it this way. So you must have a DNS global catalog for your objects. Yeah. So this is your directory, like another admin password for restoration. Just maybe you can put the same. Okay. Okay, read-only domain controller, leave it unchecked. This is used for if you have a separated sites that you don't want to have your remote sites to have a writable domain controller for security purposes. So this one can be in a different topic, so keep it. The global catalog is a mandatory and the DNS, yeah. So the rest, click next. So delegation maybe later. Let's modify netbios. Let's check if required. So netbios name is like a shortened name. So from previous, like if you're using Linux, sometimes they require netbios. Actually, totally not. So different purposes. So just hit next. So database folder for your AD, it's always default. C drive, root, Windows, NTDS. So just leave it. Hit next. So summary of your config. So the important part is you enable the DNS, yeah. Then hit next. Okay, because I just created a password, right? Or my password is not that strong probably. Or okay, it's a blank. So we just created a blank. We just created a password right after we reboot. So it's either, let me try to. Okay, let me try if we don't need to reboot. We try to lock. Then we try to unlock. Okay. Earlier we don't have a password. Okay. So let's try our configured password. Rerun. Okay, let's hit next. Rerun. I think we need. Oh, rerun. to reboot. Okay, let's try to reboot first because we didn't put a password initially. Okay, let's go by command line, shutdown, SR force time 1. Okay. Same as our second domain controller, let's put a password and reboot and put a name for the secondary. Let's try to rename it as OS admin. Set a password. Okay. Let's rename the machine. This is for the secondary, don't get confused. Local server. Let's rename the computer. Okay, this is for the secondary. Let's restart. Remember the password. Let's go back to DC01. Why there's two? Password 01 exclamation. So let's come back to the server manager, the pending task. Okay, we need to promote, add new forest. Okay, let's try to have this same. Still reading, yeah. Okay, password. Hit next. Next. We're doing this on DC01, yeah. Hit next. So database for your AD, keep it by default. Hit next. And next again. What is your issue? It's not a blank. Okay, I think the password is too weak. The password 01. Let us try to change it to a different password. Oh, the administrator built in. Okay, doesn't have password, so let's put a password here. Password 01 exclamation. Okay, that's the reason. Okay, now we can do rerun again. Alright, so yep, I think it's already installing the services. As I have mentioned, it is required for you to have a DNS integrated zone with your Active Directory. So it comes up when you enable the feature. Yeah. Okay, please reboot. Yeah. Okay, let's take a look. What is the IP for your second domain controller? So remember, we need to put a password to this administrator. Yeah. So for OS admin, edit the default. Let's put password 1 as well. Computer management. This is DC02. Yeah. So put the password. Proceed. Okay, password OS admin. Yeah, we have a password. Okay, now let's check what is. Let's put static IP on this secondary node. We're just doing preparing to sync up with the primary AD 140. Okay, the IP segment is wrong. We have to pre-configure the. So it's like this. So we need to reach our primary domain controller, right? 192.168.1.133. So why is it being okay? This one should be under bridge. Okay. Then we will get our new IP address. Just click yes. Record the IP. 1.221. Save it. Okay. So we're able to reach 133, which is DC01. So let us check our new domain controller. Magsisimulate ka ba? Sorry, it takes forever to boot up. I don't know. Maybe it's because the RAM is only like 4 gig RAMs. Okay, let's try. Okay. What did we put? The administrator will be converted as a domain account. So administrator. So we will be using, this is our new domain, right? It has said that your local admin will be converted as the domain account. So this should work. Yep. Okay, let us check the AD service that we have activated. So hit start, administrative tools, users, and computers. Okay, great. Now you have your AD environment. So this is my domain name that I have configured. So this is my first domain controller. So these are your pre-built folders, membership. Yeah. So computers we don't have yet a member computer, so we only have one domain computer at first. These are the built-in users: administrator, domain admin. So usually best practice is when we create users for your company, we separate it to the default users folder. So let's try to create new one. So right click the domain, click new, organizational unit, or it's called in shortcut is OU. Yeah, get familiarized with these acronyms. So let's say office. How about let's make it Manila. Okay, Manila users. From this OU we can create already our first maybe normal user as well. So as a normal user, let's put you put the user ID. So okay, next password. So the user Pepe Magtanggol is a normal user. Okay, that will be our user for your workstation. So we need a Windows 10 for it. We'll try to download in parallel of installing the secondary domain controller. So let's keep it check that the first logon of Pepe, it will ask for a change of password for security purposes. Okay, hit next, finish. So if you want to check the status, usually is we put from command prompt user, then the user ID. So you can see some summary of when it has been created, not totally created. Okay, some few helpful information. Yep. So we have our first own AD. Okay, so we talk about the DNS. Once you created the AD, you should have a DNS as well. Okay, go to DNS. So by default, any new member computers. Okay, let's start from the top. So this is your server. So forward lookup zones is like if you're in your internal network, you're trying to search a machine with the domain of ocamposolutions.org. So the tendency, the first hop, it will try to go to your internal DNS and search for machines, and it will route you to your your server IP. Yeah. So if you want to create like another zone, like if you have another domain within your network, then like you want to reach maybe if you have another domain name, like maybe let's call it ryzen.org, you create a new forward zone, then just allow it should be conditional forwarders actually. But if you are hosting the zone name, a different zone name than the Ocampo solutions, and you have preferred internal IP, then you have to create new zones with your IP. Like let's put a try. Yeah, so primary zone DNS, just give it by default. Ryzen.com. Okay, allow. So this is your another zone. Yeah. So what does it mean? So if I have another machine, I can create a new A record with a different IP with maybe if you have a NAS 192.168.1 dot let's make it maybe my workstation is 218. Let's create a reverse record as well. Okay, we don't have reverse zone yet. So the A record has been created. Let's try to reach this workstation using nas.ryzen.com. See, it will helps you to forward, wherein if you're outside the network, this one doesn't exist. This one is for internal zone, some calling of a different domain name or zone. You configure a different IP, so yep, additional one. So I don't need this one. So what is reverse zone? Reverse zone is for you to look up the machine name using from an IP. So if we do a lookup, what is a lookup? Okay, lookup is like from your internal or external domain is like because I mean on my local host, I mean on the domain controller, any record if it is exists or not. So well, you can do a search. You can like we can ask who is 192.168.1.133. If you have a DNS, it will try. Oh, why doesn't? By right, it should. By right, it should be. Oh, because we don't have zone. Yeah, okay. We don't have the reverse zone, meaning like it doesn't exist yet. That's why if I try to look up 192.1.133, it cannot look up for you. It doesn't exist. But if I look up by host name, yep, it will be able us to route then which IP because of this forward zone. Now, how can we have this forward lookup zone? It's like, let's click the zone, new zone. Okay, next. Primary zone, keep it integrated AD. Just like if you have a secondary DNS, it will replicate. Next, IPv4. What is the network range for your network? 168. Maybe that one, or if you have that two, yeah, just add. Okay, yep. Next, allow, finish. Okay, now we have created a zone, so there's no record yet, yeah. But actually, because I created, there will be a suspect. Let us try. Yep, cannot yet. So we have to update the pointer, the reverse. Okay, let's try this one. Yep, it should be there. So when we look up now 133, we will be able to route to the correct node or PC. Yep, that's for the DNS part. So for the DNS part, ensure that you have forward zones so you can have internet, yeah, or else you will not have internet. Okay, usually you put the forwarders, your ISP DNS, yeah. If you don't put forwarders, then you won't be able to reach internet from your environment. So for now, I will not put. So our next part is, what if this goes down? Then of course you must have a secondary. Our secondary is this one. It's still not yet joined to the domain. We will try to sync it up, yeah, with DC01. So I have pre-configured the host name, the IP. Okay, so what I will do is I ensure that there's no issue. I need to check the connectivity, that we are able to reach it. Okay, that's good. Then we add the services again, rows and features. Hit next. This is 02. The main services again. Click add. Next. Just hit next. Azure AD. Yeah, just hit next. Install. So it will first install the features, but as what we did earlier, there will be a notification again to complete the prerequisites. Yeah. So if you can take a look from this one at query Fismo, if you're so if you are familiar with the Fismo roles, so currently in an enterprise environment, we usually separate the Fismo roles, so there will always be only one PDC, and the rest you can put it on a different node, so in case one goes down, then it will not affect everything. Yep. So we will try to transfer next time the roles, the Fismo. So I'm not a very theoretical guy, but you can try to take a look what are the definition and the use for each. Yep. Maybe in my next video we'll try to check this out, and for doing a transfer roles. Yep. So for now we will finalize the backup domain controller. Okay, we installed the features. We need to finalize the installation, the synchronization. So we hit notification. We need to promote again, but earlier we did add new forest. What we will choose is add a domain controller to an existing domain. Okay, then we will try to search what is the domain name is. Ensure that your DNS is pointing to the DNS ADC01, yeah, and DNS02. Then I'll disable IPv6. Okay, let's put static. Always remember, you put static IP 192.168.221.1.1. Okay, my primary DNS, remember, is ADDC01 1.133. Then my secondary will be this node. Yep. If I don't put this 133, I will not be able to reach the domain name ocamposolutions.org. Okay, because it will not know who it will use, name server it will use to look up who is ocamposolutions.org. So you need to route that the name server who holds the record Ocampo Solutions, right? It will help you to route to the correct node. So it is mandatory. Yep. So click OK. Click OK. For you to ensure that you will be able to reach the domain, is you can do a ping. Ping the domain name. It should answer the correct domain controller. Yep, looks good. So you'll be able to join. Yep. So the domain name will be camposolutions.org. Okay, let's supply the credentials. Should be Registrations. This should be the domain account. Yeah. Password 01. Click OK. Okay, looks good. Next. Password is incorrect. Okay. What did we put? Okay, let us reset the password. I forgot what I have put. Okay, I have reset the password. This should be okay. Okay, hopefully it should be okay. Yep, looks good. So now it's asking what is the capabilities for this domain controller. We put it as global catalog as well, so in case the 01 goes down, you can still create users from here. And we can do a DNS sync up as well. So like if your DNS on 01 goes down, you still have 02 replicated. So same thing, you provide the password, the restore password. Hit next. Just leave it. Next, so replicate from, well, you can choose, well, you only have one, right? So you can choose the default. So default, next. Okay, summary. Yeah. So yep, it's fine. So I hope I can get a Windows 10 IS. Okay, now, yep, it has finalized the installation. We need a reboot. While I am searching for a possible Windows 10 ISO. Okay, let me try to download an ISO. I just need the ISO. Please give me the link. 64-bit. Okay, so done for the secondary AD. Click OK. Let me put back my face so you'll be a bit inspired for this activity. Yeah. So this is your secondary DSC02. Let's try our OS admin, right? So it's another account, OS admin. Password 01 extension. Yep. So if we'll take a look back on the Active Directory users and computers, there should be 2 domain controllers now. Yeah. If we join a member like a workstation or a server as a member server, you will see it from here. So this is a good thing. So once I make a change from this server, it should be changed on the DSC02 as well. So we can do a try, yeah, because it is replicated in real time. Yeah, DSC02, I have the Manila 01 Manila. Now let me try to create a new folder for you. Let's put it Singapore. It should be appearing from here. Okay, it doesn't replicate yet. If you want to force replicate, what you can do is you go administrative tools, domain, sites and services. Usually it will replicate very fast. Yeah, actually you don't need to. Okay, what I will supposed to do here is to force replication in case there's some delay of replication. Right, you go to your site servers. Okay, then from here you do right click replicate from selected DC. It will try to refresh and start the replication for all your domain controllers for objects in case there's a delay something. So this is your DC02. We have successfully synchronized 2 domain controller. You have Active Directory services, so maybe on another session we can put delegation, like if you have a help desk team, then you don't want everything like they will be seeing all the folders, right? So they can create a user as well from their side. If you don't have like a third party web based active like new creation of users, if you want to have some services, the Windows native remote AD rights only, then it will be on a different topic. Yeah, so it depends. If I hit a good numbers of subscribers from my channel, then so at least help me. In case not, then let's see how. I'll just play my games. So from this seminar, we have covered how to create Active Directory, integrated DNS, configuring secondary domain controller, and the purpose. Group policy, maybe some time. We try to create a workstation. Yeah. Anyway, Windows 10 is almost done. So you can differentiate your admin users, like OS admin, to a normal users, because from OS admin you can see the membership is administrators, the main user. So a normal user will be um, like this one. You will only have users access. So it doesn't have access to any servers unless you put a local admin, remote desktop or admin rights. So let's try to try the account to log into a workstation if what I am talking about in the last 2 hours is correct and real. So let us try to create a workstation. Yeah. So from my Windows 10 ISO, I'll create an again. Maybe I can shut down this DC02 because my memory is a bit running low now. Yeah, so I can shut down this AD602. But for a corporate environment, you must at least have um, two domain controller running at the same time. Yeah, let's shut this down so I can have a free up resource. I'll create a new virtual machine, Windows 10. Where did I put Windows 10? Okay, next. Let's click Pro. Okay, just continue. Just for trial, just put next. Single file, doesn't matter. Hit next. Ensure you change the network as replicated. Yeah. Okay, so we have your one domain controller. Yeah. So we will complete this workstation client. So let's change the network. Right click, settings. Network should be bridge. This one, as I have said, it's using my host Ethernet, but actually I'm using Wi-Fi for this machine. But it will replicate like this machine is also like connecting direct Wi-Fi, as an independent one, but physically it's using the same disk card, but virtually logically different. Yep. So let us try to complete this Windows 10. Ensure you turn off the firewall. Yep, I'll come back in a minute. before we go to the final config of the seminar for tests, is maybe the next session will be integrating WSO services for patching. We can consider file server services as well, like you have two nodes replicated, and VMware ASXIs or Learning Exchange 2010. Yep. So let's go now. Let us try to put some sample of group policy. From Manila, we put another OU separation, computers. Yeah. Okay, so maybe a basic policy will be there will be a welcome message. Okay, go to administrative tools, group policy management. So from your domain, okay, so this is your domain, right? So group policy object, you right click new, then let's say welcome message. Okay, from welcome message, right click, edit computer config. Let us see, where is that? It should be somewhere. So these are the built-in group policy template that you can configure based on, your company's requirement. What do they want? What what you need to configure for you to meet their security compliance policy. No? So as a sample for this activity, we will try to create, like, anyone who logs in will have some few, like, policy message. Yeah. So you can put, like, this machine is should not should only be accessible by internal staff of Compo Solutions. Any unauthorized access to this machine by force will be for investigation and could be punishable. Yep. Let's try. Yep. So we should be able to see this message when we put a machine, if we put a machine object on this node. So after we created this policy, right, we have to link. Okay, we link this group policy that we created, not in here. Go to group policy management, welcome message, right click Manila, link an existing GPO, welcome message. Yep, should be done, should be okay. Then okay, for our test machine, still rebooting. We should be able to see that group policy that we have implemented. Okay, first ensure that your firewalls are off in the client level as well. Okay, turn off. My network should be okay. I should be able to, okay, my DNS. I should be pointing to the domain controller so I can reach my domain computer. If I don't, okay, currently my DNS is my home router, so it will not know who is Ocampo. I have an external domain, so I must put my DNS static. So you should put 192.168.1.133. That one that your secondary. Never mind. Your secondary is turned off, so I don't need. Turn off. You should be able to ping campussolutions.org based on the IP. Is it 133? Anyway, that's good. Let's join this to domain. Before that, we configure local account. Okay, manage. We have existing. Just need to set a password. This one, set password. Okay, then let's join this to domain. Put a name. Main client 01. Campussolutions.org. Excuse. And we put the domain account. Yep, good. Looks good. Then we have to restart. I want to shut down first. Okay, before that, let's go to ADC01. Remember, we have linked the group policy here, right? So it will affect anything below this folder. The policy will be inherited. So let's minimize this one. Okay, now we can see the newly joined domain machine. Let's move it to this OU. You can drag or move. Yep, move, share. So then we reboot this machine. Shut down, every 1 second, and yep, we should see the group policy we have implemented, the welcome message. Let's try. Right click, send control delete. Remember, we have created a user that control password usual. Yep, it is asking me to change password initial. Let's change password. Okay, yeah, password has been changed. Now where is that welcome message? Didn't see the welcome message. Let's try. It didn't prompt us. Let's check. Should be update force. It should be here. Let's try again. I think it's because it should be under a remote session. You can try. So let us set Pepe Magtanggol as remote desktop user, then we do RDP. So we first authorize Pepe Magtanggol as remote desktop users. Okay, so we can do RDP. Why cannot? Why I cannot? Try administrator. Good. So Pepe Magtanggol is remote desktop user. Our IP for this test machine is 234. We enable the remote. Okay, let us try if we will see the message. Should see the welcome message. Oh, didn't. Why we cannot? How about we enable loopback policy? Loopback policy means that it will also apply to user, not just to the machine. Oh, see, shucks. But my machine is here already. Machine is here. Turn on loopback policy. Different now for 2016. No, can't see the loopback. Okay, how about from this session we can change the timing, right? So let's try to restrict the timing instead, a simple one. Change time zone. Okay, change the system time. Only domain admin. Change system time. Admin admins. What else? How about not yet defined we enforce? Actually, there's a defined already. How about change wallpaper? Desktop. because from the current one we can check personalize background. Oh, okay, we cannot because it's not activated. So, but let's try. How about that we can try? Maybe event log. We force your log size to maybe 3000 KB. This one is security, yeah, just for testing. F5. Okay, just refresh. Okay, we can see interactive login, maximum log size 3000. We should be able to see group policy update, force. Let's try to force update this node. I think a restriction panel. Cannot change. Why it doesn't synchronize with my policy? Anyway, we put it on the next session. So that's it. Hope this session has helped you. So in case you have any question, yeah, just feel free to ask. But of course, before I answer you, I hope that you're on my subscriber and on notification, so I will help you as well. You help me, I help you. Yeah.